forget social media and the effect it has on our generation. I loosely say that, and also the younger generation, younger than us. But you see, like even my mom's generation right now, they are in social media. That means they have their WhatsApp groups, their Facebook, and all that. And it's really worrying because I found out quite recently that my mom is a Trump fan, right? And I was like, "What? You like Trump? Like, what's going on?" Right? And then she's just like, "Yeah, he speaks his mind. He's very direct." And I'm like, "What about everything else? What about what about him saying, I grab woman by the pussy, right? Like even saying it is such a disgusting thing to say, right?"
Yeah.
But even my mom is like, she's not aware of it, or it's not real life, it's fake news, it's not true, or I've not heard of it. I saw this Facebook post like this. My mom came to me the other day and she said she hates having these interactions with me, but she knows she has to because I kind of like debunk a lot of things for her, right? So she's forwarded me a video of this fucking idiot. There's no other word I can say, of this dude. I can't remember his name. Is this Indian dude who sent a video in Tamil. And it's kind of spread among like the Indian groups where he's telling people not to do the My Prihatin registering when you go to a restaurant. Like don't do that. The scanning. Don't put in your name and phone number lah. Then I'm like, no, I was like, that's stupid lah. You should do it because we want to be able to track if suddenly this restaurant has a case, then they can contact you, ma. And she's seeing like, oh, this guy, he says, oh, they're gonna track you. Then they'll be able to track you. I say that's the point. The point is so they can track you. And then, oh no, they'll have your information. I said, what the fuck is the government going to do with your phone number? I mean, you're not putting in your IC number, man. You're putting your name and phone number. What do you think they can do with your phone number that you're so worried about? But this guy is like, and this video went viral, and among my mom's generation, with probably the aunties and uncles and all that, right? And they're like, oh, don't register. And the only takeaway is don't register. Because one idiot took the time to record a video and forward it, right? So I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the hell? What's the logic? There's simply no logic. But
Dude,
like you said,
I have friends my age or even younger than me who have similar worries that they think they're going to be tracked by the government. And yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It's absolutely the purpose to be tracked by the government in this case, right? But I think another better argument is to actually tell them, whoever is worried about this kind of thing, right? Your name, your address, your IC number has already been leaked.
Yes.
In 2017, the MCMC got hacked, and basically everybody's phone number, everybody's IC and all that, all is available on the dark web for anybody to buy already.
Yeah.
You don't need the government to track you already. But that's why we've seen so many scams in the last 3 years because of this data leak. So there's nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, the government knows that you're going to buy bread today. Like, okay, what are you going to do? Right?
No, but even something as simple as like COVID is probably the most biggest news in our lives right now. We talk about COVID MCO because we are affected by it.
Yeah.
So even when it's blatantly clear that, hey, we are doing these things so that we can track how the disease is spreading and trying to curb it, right? And so I feel it is. And I don't think our government is great at disseminating information, but even then, I think they've done a sufficiently good enough job that we know, or at least I know, that there's a point to this. There's a point to why you should register and all that. But even with that, somebody can just put out a video saying that, oh, this big government trying to track you. And I'm like, but that is the point. The point is the government wants to track how this disease, in case...
You're never going to fight it on an individual basis like this. I think you can, on an individual case like this, what's wrong with this video or what's wrong with this instance. I think, whenever we have a conversation like this, and whenever I get fake news in my chat as well, you're not the only one. Literally everybody that age forwards fake news every day. One thing I did was I encouraged all my uncles, okay, before you forward something, just check it on Snopes or on Malaysia Kini. If it's on neither of those sites, it's probably fake. So just go to Snopes or Malaysia Kini, and that kind of fundamental behavior change. My dad started doing it already, and he no longer forwards any fake news because he always checks first. And I think that's a huge thing. Even if once in a while something slips through the cracks or whatever, you've made a change to 80% of the time. So if you have that conversation in future, just we wanted to start a campaign. It didn't actually take off during the MCO. Me and a few other guys, we wanted to start this campaign where if it doesn't have a link, don't share it. Okay, that's the first level. Don't share anything without a link. preferably you know what the good links are and all that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But at the very base, don't share anything without a link. That would help so much already.
No, even in my little Taman over here, right? So we have our Taman WhatsApp group. And
Yep.
you know, like there's like massive just sharing of crap, right? So
Yep.
it has come to a point where we came to a consensus even before the MCO that hey, this is for the people. So if if the news is not relevant to this Taman, don't put it here. This is not the forum for it. But now with MCO, again, we get a barrage of articles, news and all that. And
Yeah.
and I've done it a few times where I go in and say, I try not to be rude because I'm usually the young. Believe it or not, I'm usually the young guy there. Usually it's a much older,
Same.
older population here. So I'm like trying to be respectful. I'm go like, oh, have you verified this? Whatever they share the article, I just go like, hey, do you know this person? Is this by you? And I'll just ask this stupid questions just to get whether it's a legit, because you never know. Maybe it's really legit, like maybe the person really wrote it, right?
Yeah.
And then 99.99% of the time, it is just forwarded, right? Some people are very smart. You tell them no forwarding messages, they copy paste, and then because you don't get that forwarded thing on WhatsApp, right? So they think they've gamed the system by not having that forwarded thing. But despite me, and I think there's a handful of us in the WhatsApp group that on a daily basis tell people to fact check, right? People still just, they can't, I think the human nature to share is so intrinsic that they can't help themselves.
It's not so much the human nature. I believe, my theory on why the older generation is doing a lot of this fake news sharing and stuff like that, right, is that humans need to feel useful and they think that what they're doing is useful. And retired people have less ways of feeling useful than non-retired people. So that's my theory.
No, in that sense, I can see where, because I do feel that there's a need to, I'm the first to have this news. I'm the one sharing this news, right? I know this. So there's a feel for people like, I got this. I know this first, and I'm kind of telling you this. I'm sharing this news with you. So yeah, I can see why. Yeah, they want to feel useful and all that. But
and there's one statement that pisses me off, and this pisses me off no matter who says it. Okay.
Okay.
One of the most hated sentences that it really irks me is, "You can never be too safe." Fucking hate that statement, man. If you want to do that, right, go become like Michael Jackson, man. Go get your hermetically sealed, oxygen chamber. Stay the fuck inside. Don't go out at all. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anybody because you're gonna get something, right? Oh my god, I hate that statement.
And this is probably not as bad as that, but the accompanying statement that I see now when people forward messages is forwarded as received.
So what the fuck does that even mean? So I didn't change it.
They're just saying that, I got this, so I'm just sharing it. So there's no onus on me to verify it. Forward it as received. Yeah. Right? I'm like, dude, don't forward next time. Nobody wants this stuff, right? But man, again, I think this.
Yeah, I would appreciate forwarded and verified, and then put a link there or something like that.
Is there any way to, you said you all thought about a campaign of doing this, but is there any way to have a way to?
Dude. It's sheer volume right now. The problem is that the people who are generating it are not being persecuted. So you're fighting a torrent, like a flood of fake news. There's no way you're going to be able to verify absolutely everything out there. Like we try, Sabananya tries, a whole bunch of other sites try, but you can't because there's too much of it, right? And these people are making money off the clicks or whatever. It's got to be a law, in my opinion. My opinion has changed. Initially, when the fake news law came out, I was very much against it.
Yeah.
But having talked to some people, I kind of feel like some form of legislation needs to happen. Some form of legislation that will hold people accountable to truth. Not necessarily truth that hurts or helps somebody, but just truth. I don't know how that works.